Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Deadfire with me, Bring It On. Let's check in with my companions.
What's on your mind? Yes?
Lash esegan kikiwa. Ask, please. Liezuha iget.
What is it, Kazita?
Haoyo, do you require my expertise? My studies? I cannot promise a dissertation. The truth. I'm sorry. Embarking on inquiry with an agenda. Perhaps
Wonder what Pa's up to.
Alright, nothing new so far.
Yeah? Tell me what's on your mind. Sure thing, Watch.
So, it's to be Ukaizo. The last great arena of this contest. If you believe that sort of thing.
Maya glances away, sniffing.
Planting a flag in the sands of Ukaizo is a great way to hang a target on your back.
We set sail for Aethys, not an island.
Glad to hear that a practical opinion can still shout over the masses. I just want to know that we're doing this for the right reason. So far, I'm unconvinced. Until I see Ukaizo for myself, it's a bedtime story. Let the poets hang their hopes on a dream. Rawatai's navy should be better than this.
Sounds like you have personal reservations.
Ukaizo isn't a fortress in the path of shipping lanes. We don't even know if this mythical island has any defensive value.
Maya throws her arms up. Shiza dances back with ruffled feathers and an irritated squawk.
When this campaign is spread across razor-thin margins, how does the company plan on sustaining a garrison half the world away in uncharted seas? All the powers imagine that Ukaizo is a symbol for control, and they're willing to bet everything that they're right.
What does Ukaizo mean to you?
Ukaizo has fooled everyone into sacrificing and compromising for the ultimate prize of what? Getting there first? Even if we succeed, not everyone's gonna make it back to sing the tale of lost Ukaizo.
The trading companies can bicker for territory. We have work to do.
Couldn't be prouder to be a part of it, Captain. Thanks for letting me squawk in your ear like a Shiza after too much shark meat. I needed that.
Maya sighs and cracks her neck with both hands.
Go on, then.
Ahoy, Captain. What can I do you for?
So based off that conversation, it sounds like she won't leave us if we don't side with the Royal Deadfire Company.
Damn me, the cops run dry.
Ukaizo. We are actually going to Ukaizo.
Takeo turns his colorless gaze toward you, unfocused, but full of concern.
The tribes will look to me to bridge our past and our future. A heavy responsibility, I say.
This should empower you, not paralyze you.
The praise they showered on Ngati's chosen. Until now, it all seemed an empty gesture. Never a promise that I could fulfill. And I am no one's savior. It is not for an artist to save the tribes, I say. To work miracles. I want the tribes to grow on their own. My people deserve better than the promises of a handsome fish and his goddess mother. Ukaizo will show us the way. The tribes will find themselves again.
He touches the spot on his forehead, his gaze unfocused with a momentary sense of awe.
I would discover what our ancestors forgot. The Covenant is more important than ever.
Learn what you can from Ukaizo, but let the tribes find their own way.
I will give it thought. There is time enough for that, at least.
He nods, weighing your words with care.
Ukaizo should be the discovery of our lifetime. With the trading companies and the Principe ready to descend on each other, I wish the island had kept its secrets a while longer.
He lets out a weary sigh. The world around you darkens, and once again you feel an insistent tug for your attention, the pull centering from Takehu's soul. Surrender to the sensation.
It pains me to see my boy so conflicted. Questions tear at his heart, and the ache reaches me even here.
Andra props her jaw in her fist and regards you coolly.
He so longs for his independence, but his people will not relinquish his destiny without a fight.
Her lips part with a secret smile.
Empires have fallen since I favored the Huana with power and wisdom. How they wield it is their choice. Just see that my boy comes to no harm.
Before you have a chance to react, Andra claps her hands, and your surroundings assert themselves once more.
There is much to consider, and little time to decide our course. I fear that we will see the path before us before we are ready to walk it.
Lead on, Dusk Speaker.
Okay, let's deal with deposing Castol.
Now, what can I do? You see anything?
Huh?
Oh, he's not max level yet. Alchemy and metaphysics. Let's grab Regenerate. That might come in handy when we fight some of the mega bosses.
Yeah? Yeah? Right. Yeah? Huh?
I'm still mad at Palagina for having taken all my equipment with her. Mostly the sword. $35 out of 100. I'm not sure if we're going to finish this. 100 afflictions is a very steep cost.
Silence, please. I'd like to get us underway.
Director Castol's office is nearly unrecognizable through the milling crush of bodies. The chamber is suffocatingly warm, and several of the occupants jostle for a place beside the window. 201. The people around you are dressed in rich fabrics, or else the occasional piece of armor. Few of them look especially pleased to be here. Despite the cacophony that greets you when you arrive, a quiet descends swiftly upon the room upon the barest hand gesture from the man now standing behind the desk. The Conte Nicesi's gaze sweeps across the room, eventually settling on you. It would be nice if when you hovered over these, if it gave you the pronunciation as well.
I see you have wasted little time in involving yourself, Lord.
Around him, several of the onlookers crane their necks to see who the Kanta is addressing.
Director Castol, Governor Alvari, you are both here?
Indeed, Your Excellency.
Castol's face is splotchy and damp with sweat. He looks as if he may be ill.
Yes, Your Excellency.
Alvari wears a restrained smile.
And this is to be your witness?
Yes.
Most esteemed guests, this is the Watcher of Cadnua.
We were sorry to hear of Cadnui's fall, Lord. How interesting to find you here. You have my sympathies.
Nod.
I have several connections in the White March. I have always wanted to meet the man behind the stories.
It's quite the name. Duke Ramasi Staranzo Me Salona.
Let us begin. If the clerks will attend the roll. Albina Carnetto, Duke Ramasi Storanzo Miselona, the Archmage.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to roll my R's for that.
Devils, take your roll, Nero. This isn't the Songretta Ducala. We are all here. Let's get this over with.
Outsider law has more teeth than Ngati's pets, I say.
If this goes badly, at least there's enough wealth in this room to cover our funeral expenses several times over.
Aloth leans close, murmuring to you.
Very well. Then let me extend my sincerest thanks to our shareholders in attendance.
Shareholders.
The money, of course.
Principo Tarvisi Vedremino III Me Revua.
And the brains, clearly. Get to the point, Kanta.
In deference to present company, we will proceed in adherence. Director Castol, you stand accused of nothing less than gross incompetence, mismanaging of resources, willful deceit, grave charges all.
A low murmur starts up around you as the crowd reacts.
We have examined the evidence available to us. The numbers are not in your favor, Director. But you will have the opportunity to explain yourself. Now, Alvari.
Agrasima, Your Excellency. Esteemed Council, I bear Maestro Castol no ill will. We have always treated one another with great respect, but his time is past. I put it plain, the company is bleeding resources. We have identified numerous sources of Adra, and yet, how much of it ever reaches the Republics? The expedition to Pococahara was but the latest failure. Trained workers and supplies gone, and for nothing.
Should I speak up here? I feel like they'd be in defense of Castol, and I do want him gone because he works with slavers. That's my biggest grievance with him, so say nothing.
The loss of the expedition was out of my hands. In any enterprise, there is risk.
Some risk, Castol. The question is whether you have overreached.
I have more, Your Excellency. Your coin, lords and ladies. Where has it gone all this while? Not to mines and industry, no. The director has spent the bulk of it on frivolous experiments.
That is absurd. Animancy research has gotten us where we are today.
Precisely.
Enough, Alvari. Watcher, you have had some involvement in these experiments. Do you have anything to add?
See, I like the first half of option 1, but that second sentence, I don't want to say that. I mean, they kind of worked. I feel like this is kind of a lie as well. The experiments worked. I was there.
Working. Working well enough to invite open attack by the Royal Deadfire Company.
Well, if they're interested...
It truly works. You mean to say that the Animancers have learned how to, transport people?
Principo Tarvisi leans forward in his chair, watching you intently. They are very close.
Close. So it does not work.
Well, in theory it does, because I was still transported somewhere. You hear a few dismissive laughs. A quiet wave of grumbling rolls across the chamber.
We have heard much of a Castol in recent days. I wonder, Director Castol, just what are your plans for the fabled city?
Nero taps his quill against the desk in steady beats, looking on calmly.
Ukaizo holds an enormous quantity of luminous adra. Our research has already yielded results. If we can establish an outpost there, then...
Castol has scarcely started his sentence, when a handful of the gathered investors start to jeer at him.
If we take this opportunity, we can accomplish far more than we initially believed. I could make you rich, lords and ladies, beyond your wildest dreams.
You may be rich in a century or two. Have you that long to wait? Some of you perhaps, but all? Dreams are all Castol has to offer. We have scores of Adra sites mapped to detail. Why not focus our efforts there? Castol risks your fortune on illusions.
That is true. We have mapped these deposits for years. The closer we travel to Ondra's mortar, the denser the deposits. Even Alvari knows this.
You would claim Ukaizo.
Why, yes. To support the Animancers and Watchers we will send there.
Even if there is Adra past the mortar, let us grind down the whole of it and be done with the place. Or will the Songreta war against the natives and sea monsters for the next 100 years?
We have heard a great deal this day. Alvari, have you any final arguments?
Only this. That Director Castol has betrayed his station and our trust by allying himself with a Principe captain by the name of Furanti.
A Principe captain? You have evidence of this, Alvari? The word of a witness?
Nero looks to you, eyes narrowing thoughtfully. Castol was trying to skirt Juana law and wring some profit from the slave trade.
You cannot bring us Adra, so you ply an older trade, Castol.
That isn't...
Or is it that you were trying to line your own pockets, Castol? Daring. More daring than I would have suspected.
No, my lord. I swear it.
Castol wipes his brow with the sleeve.
I think we have heard enough. Any final words?
My lords, ladies, our enemies will make for Ukaizo in short order. The Valiant Trading Company must be ready. It needs decisive, effective leadership, now more than ever. With the Watcher's aid, we have the opportunity to claim an overwhelming victory. One that will carry us all into the history books.
Assuming he means to help us.
We will see, won't we?
You have heard all the accusations against you. Castol, any final words?
Everything I do to help the company. You know this. 2 years ago, you entrusted me to establish the Luminous Adra trade. I will continue to serve you, dutifully, and to my best ability. I know now that Alvari has hungered after my position for years, just as she will hunt after yours if you allow her to rise. She would cast Margaret off her throne if she could.
Beside you, Alvari smiles. I feel like the evidence is stacked against Castol, so I'm not going to say anything. I'll wait silently.
It is time. Let us put the matter of Castol's dismissal to a vote. All in favor?
Hands go up almost at once. It takes only a glance to see that the vote overwhelmingly favors the motion. Alvari nods once, perhaps to herself, and closes her eyes. Seeing the outcome of the vote, Castol looses a strangled, breathless cry of dismay, as if wounded.
We gave you a chance, Castol. We made it clear what defiance would cost. You have squandered that opportunity. Perhaps you will have better luck in the living lands. Ignato Castol, I hereby pronounce you banished. Exiled from the Valian Trading Company and the Valian Republics by order of the Sangreta Mea Compressa.
No! Wait! You, Percamplanca! Don't do this! Mercy!
I believe that brings this meeting to a close. Agrasima Watcher.
Lady Alvari wears a small, restrained smile as she watches the gathered nobility disperse. She looks at you as you approach, raising one arched eyebrow.
Let us speak once the room clears, Watcher. I think we have much to talk about. Look at me. I am still sweating.
Alvari stands beside the director's desk, looking down at her hand. She curls her fingers into a fist, and uncurls them slowly, and smiles.
You did well. Ah, very well. A perfect witness. Impartial.
There's a sly cast to her smile as she looks up at you. She plucks a coin purse from the desk.
You and I were together in this. Let us seal the pact in coin. We move now with singular purpose and ensure the prosperity of the republics. Trade, coin, civilization, amico. That is what we give them with Ukaizo. And for us, our rightful place in the world.
So, just based off my character's class, the Gold Pact Knight, I feel like I should side with the Valian Trading Company because they're the ones most interested in making money, as is the Gold Pact Knight. But I think to show my character's growth over the course of the two games, I'm still going to lean towards siding with the Juana. The Valian Trading Company isn't as bad since Castol's gone. He was the one working with slavers. And the rest of them seem to condemn it. But still, I think siding with the Juana is probably the best choice.
There is but one final distraction that must be seen to. A final obstacle.
Alvari lowers her gaze, solemn.
The Royal Deadfire Company. They will not stand idly by as we lay our claim. It is time to do something about that. You have had some success with the Animancers, I hear. It is time for them to earn their keep.
I thought you didn't think much of the Animancy experiments.
I am simply aware that these experiments aren't a profitable venture in the long term. But I won't discard a useful tool. We will use the animals as machines to transport you into the Royal Deadfire Company's powder house. You'll set the powder house alight. The powder will do the rest. Elette has a modified explosive for you. She'll get into the details. The important part is that it should be enough to blast the entire powder house right to hell. There are risks, of course. The gunpowder is one concern, but the powder house itself is also heavily guarded. Best that you avoid being seen.
I like how this only requires a stealth of 1. Infiltration isn't exactly my specialty.
We like making noise and wrecking things.
Then leave no witnesses. The explosion will handle most of that. So long as you are clear of the building before that happens, your part will be done. This is our best, our only chance to seize victory. You hold my ambitions in your keeping, Watcher. Try not to get yourself blown to shreds. Elette will be waiting for you at the top of the spire. Good luck.
Yeah?
Welcome back. Is there something else you wish to discuss? Please, go. Very well.
Interesting.
Sure.
So she had no requirements for me to hear her plan, she just told it to me. So I'm not even going to risk going to go talk to Flan. Or Flauna. Laune? How do you pronounce your name? Because I don't want to lock myself into that quest. Though the Juana basically have the same quest. I wonder if I could use the Animancers to infiltrate it and blow it up for the Juana. Interesting. Constantine's recommended for that. Cool. Yeah, so it seems like the only quest, despite taking out the traitors, where Pallegina left. Which again, it doesn't say that there's no turning back. This one specifically does. Darn it, Pallegina.
I know you were expecting different from Aethys. And I was too.
I just thought for sure I'd have my answers. Now I don't know what to do.
You'll figure something. Something will feel right to you.
Guess I might will then. Thanks.
Alright, let's make for Dunnage.
You find yourself in cold, suffocating darkness. There is a familiar weight in your hand. A lantern. It sputters to life, and the world shifts into focus. A staircase spirals endlessly below you. With nowhere else to go, you start down. A wave of blistering heat hits you. Then a sea salt wind. Divine voices boom and screech. Their words shake the platform beneath you, shake the very air around you. The gods are fighting.
Lay your blame elsewhere, Wodica. I won't suffer your arguments any longer.
Mogren looms large before you, an accusing finger leveled at the melted visage of Wodica. Wodica screws her mouth into a sneer.
You fool! If only we had attacked him when I first proposed it.
Accusations drip bitter as bile from her tongue.
I'll just wait until you're done.
Ah, if it isn't Bareth's intrepid little minion.
The pallid knight looks down at you, a frown etched deep in her otherwise statue-still features.
I am afraid we are not at our best.
The Watcher's returned. Perhaps we should hear what he has to say.
Helia's birds chatter anxiously among themselves. Wal's many eyes alight on each god in turn.
We make little enough progress on our own.
Progress? Are you planning something new?
We try, but agreement eludes us.
Andra's storm-dark eyes swivel to meet yours.
Is there nothing we can do?
Mogren glances at the pallid knight from the corner of her eye. After a thoughtful pause, she speaks.
The time has come for us to seize the power we have long left untouched, and absorb our scattered children.
Andra nods, her lure bobbing bright.
Terrible though it would be, perhaps you are right.
I don't remember her doing so, but maybe she did? Didn't Mogren mention this once before?
I did, and I was scolded like a child for my terrible audacity.
A curl of steam rises from her nose. The Pallid Knight looks on, impassive.
Should we be killed, we may possess the bodies of our godlike children. Or should we face a force too powerful to stand against, we can absorb their souls, granting us additional strength.
You mean Palangina and Takehu?
Helia's wayward daughter and Andra's precious son, yes. They would die. Them and thousands of others.
The Pallid Knight speaks with the chilly temperance, possessed only by the god of death.
Who's good? Yours?
We are your gods, forged of thousands upon thousands of willing souls sacrificed on the altar of progress. Yes, our good is greater.
Let's agree to disagree.
But the time for that plan has long passed us by.
Are we to keep nothing for ourselves? Not a single secret retained? Not a solitary mystery?
Mogren elbows one of Wal's floating eyes away.
Aethys will lay bare our every secret soon enough. What is one or two revealed now? But we get ahead of ourselves. First, the Watcher must get to Ukaizo, and that will be a trial all its own.
What do you mean?
The Guardian of Ukaizo has stood watch over that place for millennia. It will not stand aside, not even for Bareth's herald.
Helia, who had been lost in quiet, anxious conversation with her birds, breaks in.
It yet lives.
Of course. Our progenitors crafted it.
A pair of Helia's finches come to join Wal's floating eye. They hover just out of Mogren's reach and swoop in to poke her when she's not looking.
And the Watcher will be forced to reckon with it if he wishes to confront Aethys.
The birds at last linger too long, and Mogren slaps them away. They burst into a cloud of essence, then reform, and fly in a screeching chorus back to Helia.
Guardian of Ukaizo.
A creature crafted by the Ingwithans to protect the machinery of reincarnation. It doesn't care much for visitors.
Will you divulge our every secret to the Kith, Mogren?
Mogren shrugs.
If it suits me.
Go prepared, Watcher. The Guardian will not stand aside, not even for the Herald of Bareth.
Won't Aethys take care of it?
It is not one of Galawain's mindless beasts. It has a heart and a mind, and it will throw neither away to oppose Aethys. And Aethys will not fight the creature. It would prove little more than a distraction for him, especially as my tsunami and Mogren's volcano couldn't stop him.
Why can't you just get rid of it?
It is its own creature, Watcher. It does not listen to us.
Sounds like me and this Guardian might get along.
There is another topic we have yet to address.
The Pallid Knight holds up one gauntleted hand, and the other gods fall silent.
Tell me, Watcher, where do you stand?
Right here.
What do you think of Aethys' scheme to destroy the wheel?
It might be the most prudent thing to say nothing. But I do like options.
The Pallid Knight spreads wide her hands.
Click to the wrong
Think
thing.
of the beyond as a reservoir, the in-between as storm clouds, and souls as rain. When a living thing dies, its soul enters the in-between. And when the in-between grows full, it releases souls into the beyond, where they wait to be redistributed to new bodies, new lives. The wheel is the process by which souls are moved from the in-between to the beyond, from the rain cloud to the reservoir, and from the reservoir into the living world.
There were worse things to accidentally click on, so asking a question is probably okay.
Without the wheel to mediate the transfer and redistribution of souls, the souls of all who die remain in the in-between. And without souls to fill it, The Beyond gradually empties, trapping all of the remaining souls in existence in the in-between. When the Beyond is empty and the last creature on Aora dies, that is the end of everything. It is Rimergon's future, the one he wants for us.
How does that affect the gods?
Soul essence sustains us. We feed off it, off the little fragments you mortal kiths shed like snakeskin as you pass into your next life. Without sustenance, we starve as any mortal might. We die and leave a great silence behind, an eternal emptiness from which nothing is born.
Nod.
You see then that we cannot help but argue. The fate of life hangs in the balance, and we are as ever beholden to our natures.
Tell us, Watcher, where do you stand?
We can no longer count on the gods for guidance. Kith will have to figure this out on their own.
Perhaps you misunderstand. This is not a test you will overcome on your own. Aethys intends to change the fundamental structure of life and death. Does that not frighten you? You, Kith, who are most vulnerable?
Say nothing.
Aethys loves the mortals more than any of us. He has always been their greatest champion. He believes Kith will rise to his challenge. I am not so sure, but I look forward to watching them try.
Say nothing.
What if Aethys is right, and Kith succeed in rebuilding the wheel? What then?
I really want to see option 2, but I don't know what it's going to lead to. We'll remake our world without you in it.
Such hubris. Kith will make a mess of things. You cannot help yourselves. You must be controlled, lest you stray and fail.
And what if they fail? Then they die. And so do we. We have to help them.
Helia's voice rises, near to panic. Worika drives her fist into her hand.
Help them! We should finally bring them to heel!
The Pallid Knight raises a hand and stares at Worika until she falls silent.
Watcher, Aethys yet values your counsel.
The Pallid Knight's eyes bore into yours.
An impassioned plea from the Hound of Aethys may still temper his actions. Confront him at Ukaizo.
Say nothing.
Time moves swiftly away from us now.
The Pallid Knight spreads her hands before her.
Go, Watcher. Do what you must.
The edges of your vision begin to dim. Like a sun setting, twilight encroaches on your mind.
Say nothing.
The Pallid Knight conjures a blinding white light in her palm that swiftly grows to engulf the room. Then, the crack of thunder rends the air, and you feel the floor drop out beneath you. You come to flat on your back, staring at an all too familiar ceiling. Alone, once again.
I'm inclined to side with Aethys. He's a bit of a jerk, but so are all the gods. Alright, I'm going to call it here, and we'll continue to Dunnage next time, speak with the Consuelo, and then go to that other island. Kazuwari. But for now, thanks for watching, and hope to see you guys in the next one.